So where I left off was just being alone in that situation of my diagnosis. Just wasn't fun. Just wasn't fun. That's how I end up getting very, I mean, I always loved God. I always went to church. I always was close to God. But I really had to tap into another dimension, you know, in my holiness, okay? That's all I had. That's all I had. And the guy that I was talking to before that, when I asked him to produce some paperwork, you know, saying that he didn't have it, he never came with it. He told me, oh, I'm a nurse. We get tested every 6 months. So I already been tested already. And he was like, well, if you're 66, if you have 66 T cells, then that means you had it for over 10 years. And I'm just like, I'm confused at this time because the doctors are telling me one thing, you know, and then he's telling me, oh, I could have had it for 10 years. And I just didn't know where this came from, how. Because like I said, I've been going to the doctor. I would go for my annual pap smears and it never came up. And that's why I was so surprised. I'm like, what? But what I learned is that a lot of times certain STDs don't show up through the blood. I mean, through your sexual organs, like through your pap smear, it shows up through your blood. So sometimes you have to go further and get your blood taken to see these diseases show up, right? Which I didn't know for years. You know, I thought it was like one test, you know, they swab you down there and they find out everything they need to find out. So I'm thinking I'm good, you know, which is, that's definitely a myth that I want you guys to know. So women, if you're watching and you don't have a sexually transmitted disease, or you don't have anything on here, but you're just watching, I suggest you go get a blood test. Okay? Because that's how you really know. Through your doctor. Okay? Not the hospital. You can go through a clinic or whatever, but I would just go straight to your doctor. You know, your OBGYN and get tested. Get your blood taken for a lot of things, you know? Even pregnancy. Like when I was pregnant with my son, I took an actual pregnancy test. I took a couple of them and they came out negative. But when they took blood, positive. I was positively pregnant. I don't know who called me. Yeah. So, yeah. Get tested, y'all. Every 3 to 6 months. All right. If you're sexually active, even if you were in a relationship, I was in a relationship with somebody. And I'm not saying that he gave it to me. But was he with other people? Yeah. He was. I don't know who he was with before me. I don't know. He was from another country. Not saying that, you know, he got it from his other country, but, you know, you just don't know anybody's history. And I always blame myself for trusting. I was always a trustful person, you know, very naive. I lost my virginity at 18 years old with a boy I had a crush on for 4 years. But the crazy thing is I made a pact with myself to hold on to my virginity until I was married. And it took one of my best friends that was a male in high school. And we were talking about sex and stuff like that. And I was telling him, like, you know, I wanted to hold out. And he really just like kind of shook me up. And he was like, girl, he was like, ain't nobody gonna wait till y'all 18, 19 to have sex. Ain't no boy gonna wait till they're married. He was like, that's never gonna happen. That's unrealistic. And I'm just like, wait, no, that's what I want to happen. I want to have sex with my husband. And he was like, what if you have sex with your husband and you don't like him? And the doctor was like, yeah, He was like, you don't buy the car before you drive it. Like, this boy was really like giving me game. But yeah, he talked me into losing my virginity. Not with him, but you know, eventually I did. Like I said, with this boy I had a crush on for 4 years that stayed on my block. And it was horrible. I regretted it. I was like, what was that? And then he tried to act brand new like a couple days later, because I ended up telling my best cousin that was a guy that was friends with him also. And I guess, you know, I told him because I kind of wanted him to know, like, okay, after 4 years me chasing this guy and trying to get his attention, like, he finally did like me. And he was just like, oh, dang, y'all finally, like, I know you've been liking that boy. You know, my cousin was kind of rooting for me, so that's why I told him, you know, the secret. And he didn't judge me. He's just like, dang, okay, well, yeah, that's your boo. You know, y'all doing it. Y'all not doing it, but y'all gonna be together. And my cousin went back and told him that I said that, you know, we consummated our love. I guess that's what it's called. And the boy got mad. And he told me, oh, vagina don't have no face. That didn't mean nothing to me. I looked at him and I was just like, wow, he really said that. Like, I lost my virginity to you. Like, I liked you, like, for 4 years, and you play with my little feelings or whatever. We both were virgins, by the way. And I just made sure when I turned around before I started crying so he would not see my face. And I just said, okay. And I turned around and I just started bawling. I was like, oh, I can't believe he said that tonight. And so when I got home, of course, I cried in my pillow. I wanted to go and tell my mom so bad. I wanted to tell her. I wanted to be like, Mom, this boy did this to me. And I can't believe it. But I grew up kind of like strict. I wasn't able to really talk to my mom about that like type of stuff. So I just held it to myself. And she just never knew. She never knew. And I just ended up writing it in my diary, you know, and getting it out that way. And that was all she wrote. You know, I started having sex, you know. Did I use protection all the time? No, because I was young and dumb. And then it wasn't like it was ever planned, you know. Of course, it was always with somebody that I liked, you know, but I was just like 18, 19, just being stupid, you know. And I think once I got my little heart broken, I just didn't care anymore, you know. I was just like, oh, it is what it is, you know. I'm just going to beat them at their own game and not like them either. You know, I'm just gonna just play cold-blooded with them, even though I have feelings. If I have feelings for you, I have feelings for you. You know? But that did change like later on. When I got like 19, 20, yeah, I was cold-blooded, y'all. I ain't even gonna lie. But yeah, the guy that I felt like I got it from, he just totally played me to the left. You know, he did kind of try to talk to me and console me, you know, because I was really, really seeking information because he was a nurse. But I just still kind of felt like he was lying, and he was just trying to make it seem like, you know, I was the one sleeping around and stuff like that. And, you know, there was no possible way that he could have gave it to me. And that's when I knew, like, you can't trust nobody. You can't even trust nobody when you're in a relationship. You know, marriage, you know, if you just have that feeling that something's going on, don't stick around, and make sure you use protection. And how about both of you guys go get tested? Okay, before you even think about having sex with each other. I wish that I had somebody in my life that talked to me more about that stuff. That went in depth, that I could really sit down and talk to sex about. You know, I did have conversations with my friends' moms. You know, my mom was married, you know, and she got married very young. So she wasn't really a person out there like that. You know, she lived a married person's life. So they didn't really have a lot of stories and things to tell us. My auntie did, but still, they never really talked to us about like a lot of that stuff or diseases and things like that. Like, we knew of them, but I just really wish that I had somebody to really sit down with me and tell me the real, about my body and self-esteem, like how to care for your body, when you're in a relationship. Like, it's really up to you ultimately at the end of the day to tell yourself, hey, I'm going to use protection with this guy. But I just really wish that I had somebody just like really like, protect yourself, don't trust him. That's what I'm trying to get to, y'all. I know I'm mumbling. But I tell my sisters that, and I tell younger people that, like, just don't trust them. Even though they say, oh, I don't have anything. Don't trust them. Do your own research. Protect your own body. Because the woman's going to pay in the end. Because I heard a lot of those diseases, a lot of men don't even feel the symptoms of it. They carry it, and we're the one that feels the symptoms of it, okay? We're the one that gets the discharge. We're the one that gets the pain. It depends on the disease or the STD, but, a lot of times they don't know that they have gonorrhea. A lot of times they don't know that they have syphilis. A lot of times men don't know that they carry a lot of these diseases that are dormant in them, and they're just passing it to everybody. And so it's kind of just hard to blame anyone. You have to go get tested, and that's the only way that you'll know. But am I still in contact with my ex, that guy that I think may have gave it to me? I'm not in contact with him anymore. Could never be in contact, especially if a person's a liar. And then they didn't want to ease my pain by giving me any information on if they were negative. That's a red flag right there. But I've gotten a lot better, you guys, with dealing with my diagnosis and accepting it. In the beginning, I ain't gonna lie, I was very rebellious with taking my medicine and going to my doctor's appointments and stuff, because like I said, I would walk in there and I would just feel alone. It just was crazy. It just was like, damn, me out of all these people, like me, and like I said, there's nobody else here that looks like me. I don't have nobody like to talk to tell me anything positive. Of course, people were saying positive things like, oh, you're going to be all right, blah, blah, blah. But I just feel like I needed a mentor. I needed somebody. Now, they tried to appoint me a therapist, and he tried to use his job to get up under me and possibly have sex with me. And I wasn't having that, okay? Because I noticed it. And I'm like, he was taking me out to lunch. We would have these little meetings and stuff in this therapy, and I would talk about everything. But secretly, he was trying to do stuff. He would he would touch me in appropriate ways, and that just made it even worse, y'all. That just made it even worse. You're seeking help. You're in a vulnerable place, and there are really sick people out there ready to like take advantage of you, So I got from up under that doctor, but did I ever go back to an actual therapist? No. I never went to therapy. I went to God, because I thought that's what you do as a Black person. You don't go to therapy, you go to God. You pray about it, but all that praying, secretly I was mad at God. I was mad at God. I didn't understand why he would put this upon me. I didn't understand why I felt like one out of a million. I didn't feel like I deserved it. I felt like I wasn't doing anything different than anybody else was doing. So why me? I was in that stage at 29 years old. of why me. I had a great job, I had a car, I still had my body, I still had my mind, but I was quickly losing it. Going in and out of depression. Trying to keep my head above water, y'all, and it was hard. That was the worst time of my life. It's the worst time of my life. I'm gonna continue to video 3 and let you guys know how I got out of that. All right, see you later.